Hey, welcome to the Joe. Okay. Welcome to the Joe Rogan experience, where Tristan will finally give Tommy a kiss.
Welcome to Two Useless Organisms, a show where two useless organisms discuss a variety of topics as it pertains to their meaningless existence. Today's show, we will discuss being an adult and comfort TV shows. Keep in mind that Two Useless Organisms is not safe for work, so butt balls. Butt balls, Tommy.
Pee pee poo poo.
Pee pee poo
Butts.
poo.
Wait,
Tommy, how are
that's
you?
that. Wait, that's child humor. We just said this is adult show. What's adult humor?
Um,
Fuck,
uh, the
fuck,
IRS.
IRS. Student loans. What was your question?
How are you?
Oh yeah.
Thanks. So we want to apologize for the long delay here. My life has
We've only
been
been recording for a couple minutes.
a shit show. Shut up, Tommy. What do you? Huh? Huh? Da 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 da.
Why are you apologizing, idiot?
So we've had a little bit of a delay here. Because well, my life has been a shit show. I had some dental problems. Long story short, one of my fillings came out. It was severely
Oh.
painful. I went to the dentist. They said, you need a crown. Like 4 dentist visits later, and all of my tooth being sawed away, I now have a permanent crown. Like a day after the sensitivity in my tooth went away and that problem was finally over, my dog got attacked by another dog. He had 10 wounds in him. We went to the vet like 10 times. He had 2 emergency surgeries, $3,000 in expenses. And I missed a whole bunch of work. So that finally resolved after some time. And then I got COVID. So fuck me, am I right?
Yeah. So fuck Tristan, fucking idiot. Now that really sucks.
Yeah.
I didn't have that many sucky things happen to me, although I did get COVID.
Mm.
I went into work and I thought I felt a funny feeling in my throat, but I didn't think much of it. I wore a mask to be safe. A couple hours in my shift, I received some messages. A few nights before that shift, I went out to a bar with a bunch of coworkers, and 3 of them apparently came down with COVID that morning. So I'm like, I'm at work with COVID right now.
Mm.
And when I got home, I tested, and that second line, I took one of that home tests, and that second line appeared right the fuck away.
Yep.
I finally got COVID after avoiding it for 2.5 years, fully vaccinated and a booster. I feel like ever since Omicron, I've been like, okay, when the fuck am I getting this fucking thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I had the feeling in my throat and I found out my friends, I'm like, okay, this is finally it. Thankfully for me, it wasn't a terrible case. It was just very tedious. I was, isolated in my room, only left my room with a mask to grab food. Like, I think I had to do a Publix, like, delivery for, like, supplies. My roommates, I live with my friend, his girlfriend moved in with us, and then, like, their sister was visiting us for that week. I think they already all had COVID, so I guess it was okay. But, like, very good timing for her to visit us.
Yeah.
Like, I come home, I'm wearing my mask, I'm in my room, and I'm like, hey, I got COVID.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah.
Sucks. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
This is what it is.
So anywho, yeah, we're glad to be back. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling energized. And this kind of goes into our first topic here. It's one that I picked, and I actually have had this picked for several weeks, and it's the topic of adulthood, being an adult.
Adulthood.
I didn't actually get my content for this discussion until about 2 hours ago on my drive home from work. I mean, I've been thinking about it every day for like the last week and a half. What does being an adult mean? And I had to struggle to come up with an answer.
We all do.
It's not something that I can really describe because it's not something I feel like I've actually reached. I don't know if you feel like that, Tommy, but I don't know if people ever come to the point where they're like, I am now a wise adult. I have accomplished enough to be, I don't know, at a certain point. I think life is just going to be an ever evolving, maturing experience. So
I think so too, because I always look back like a few years ago, I'm like, man, if like I was that now, that would be so weird. And then a few years before that, so and that that cycle continues. So I imagine a few years from now, I'll look at me now and think, oh God, I was so fucking dumb, and that's just going to keep continuing. Will I ever actually be smart? I don't know.
No.
I try not to consider myself a total dumbass. Like sometimes I see other people and go, wow, thank God I'm not that dumb. But I
Uh-huh.
also know that I'm not a fucking genius myself. Like I don't really I also feel like I'm because there's times where I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What am I doing with my life? But then I also feel like I'm doing a lot better than I could be. Like I do have a full-time job. I have a roof over my head. I can eat food. I have time to record this dumb podcast. So I'm doing fine. Obviously, I wish I could be making more money or getting more bullshit or whatever, but like
Mhm.
my parents are like, why, you have a 4-year degree, why are you only making 35K a year?
Mhm.
Shut the fuck up. I'm doing fine. You got to get your life together. I'm doing fine. Anyway.
Me and you have almost the
Yeah.
exact same outlook
Yeah.
because everything you just said are things that have crossed my mind a lot
Hmm.
lately. Um,
Yeah.
First of all, the self-awareness of knowing that however many years from now we're going to look back at us now and be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm
Um,
curious about what aspects of that I'm going to be like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Yeah.
I would assume you're going to look back and say, "Why was my face like that?"
I mean, I'm trying to think. I've had the same face, I want to say since 2016.
You're going to
Um,
think, "Why did a wormhole open up and suck a bunch of ogres' flesh off of their bodies and then vomit that flesh onto my skull and made me a face?"
Speaking of ogres, I'm going to a Shrek party in a couple weeks where I need to figure out a character from Shrek and then a Shrek cootery board I'm going to make based on the character that I'm dressed up as, and I have no idea what I'm doing for that.
Let's
Because, like,
use
some
this
character
as an opportunity to circle
to
back to how
continue,
we're talking
yeah,
about being
being an
adults.
adult. Yeah.
And this is a perfect explanation as to why there's no fucking such thing as being an adult. Because I can vouch for you. All of my friends
Yeah.
that are generally around their mid to late 20s, even some in their 30s,
Hmm.
still celebrate the same things that 12-year-olds do, or we did when we were
Oh,
12. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I
Like,
still laugh anytime I see the number 69.
dude, I love SpongeBob. You know that joke in
Yes.
SpongeBob where they're like, what's funnier than 23, 24? Dude,
It's
that's
24
fucking
to
hilarious.
25.
20, whatever it is, dude, that's hilarious. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. And
No, I
and
feel that.
so I think I don't know. I'm pretty sure people just feel the same age for their whole life.
No, I agree. Once you get to a certain point, and as much as my parents tell me I need to get my life together, I spend way too much money that I don't have doing random trips and stuff. And my dad has said, "Man, my dad, who's 30 years older than me, man, when I grow up, I want to be Tommy."
Mm.
So like, clearly, you're never going to figure it out. And I've also tried to kind of come to accept that because there are so many things I want to do, so many things I want to experience that I don't think I'm going to have the time in my lifetime to do it all, or the time or the money. And I think I just kind of have to accept that no matter what happens, it's just going to be fine.
Mm.
Like, and granted, like, I think I'm privileged enough for that. Like, I'm a white person in America. I'm a white man in America, and I'm I somehow have a good credit score even though I'm in a lot of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing makes fucking sense.
No.
Money is made up, I think. Money is made up.
So this is actually a segue into the
Yeah.
question I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Like money, finances, things like that. How different is being an adult given those responsibilities, finances, retirement funds, health savings accounts, getting your taxes, all these things? How different is it than what you thought it was going to be when you were growing up?
I feel like growing up, I really didn't think much about that stuff.
Mm.
Like, they don't really teach you. They just teach you mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell and go to college and get a full time job. And then you go to college and get a full time job that doesn't pay you nearly as enough as you think it's going to. Like, my brother, who dropped out of community college, makes more money than I do. And, that's not how it was supposed to go. But, like, I don't. Like, I'll never judge anyone for not graduating from college or any bullshit like that, because like it's so dumb. Like, I think my brother has like even like had some self-consciousness about that. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Why? Like,
Yeah.
you are better off than me in certain ways. Um, and like, he's like kind of going down the regular route. Like, he's married, he has a kid and has another one on the way right now. Me, I'm in my late 20s. My parents are like, you'll figure it out one day, like kind of still thinking I'm still a kid figuring my life out, which I think I still am. And I
Mhm.
don't, yes, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that you can what makes your life fulfilling is unique to you, and
Mhm.
other people are going to think that you need to follow these
Yeah,
goals
exactly.
to be a successful person. That's not true. Only you know what
No,
those things are going to be.
exactly. Like,
So, yes.
correct. Like, as much as I wish I was making more money right now, I do like the job that I currently have. Like, I have fun doing it. I can't like, I wish I was making more money, but I'm like, what can I actually find, type of thing. I can't. I wish I can actually talk about my job more on this show, but we try to remain anonymous about that. I mean,
Mhm.
granted, like we have 3 listeners that know what we do, but
Yeah.
like,
Oh well. No, I'm right there. So
yeah,
I'm the same way. My as a 26-year-old, you would
mhm,
not think I should be doing what I do. Um,
yeah,
but I don't care because I like my job and it
yeah,
allows me to do other things with my life. Specifically, I work
correct,
very good morning hours, which means I can actually do things with my day, and
yeah,
that's something that's very valuable to me. Um, so, but here's what I was getting at. Okay,
mhm,
so when I was growing up, I always thought, I heard these things like the taxes or
yeah,
mortgages or student loans or all
mhm,
these things that you think, oh my gosh, when I get to adulthood, I'm going to have to deal with all these things.
yeah,
I don't know where to begin. But now I've noticed you just kind of take them one by one,
yeah,
and it's 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 just another challenge. You say,
yeah,
okay, it's time to learn how to do this, and it's not
and
a problem.
and see, I'm privileged as fuck because I have a 4-year degree, but I don't have any student loans because I had a trust fund or whatever that paid for all that shit. So like, I don't have any student loans. So I can't imagine someone being in my position and with student loans. Um, so like, I'm just the luckiest motherfucker, even though I feel like I'm not complete, even though I kind of am in certain ways.
So I think the conclusion we've come to here
Yeah.
is being an adult and money are
Hmm.
both things that don't exist.
They really don't.
And we're all just sacks of shit
Yeah.
walking around on this planet trying to
Correct.
make our lives as good as we can.
I know. And that I have someone that I work with who I'm pretty sure they pick up like 7 days a week. And whenever I talk to them, they physically seem fine. Like, they seem happy. I see them going out drinking and like, having fun with friends and things like that. But they always talk about picking, at least 60 hours a week, 7 days a week. And like, they look fine, but like, I'm also thinking, are you okay?
Yeah, maybe they are.
um,
Maybe they're all good.
like, a part of the debt that I've gotten in recently, which I've still somehow had a credit score over 730 or something like that. Still have a good one. Um, Ever since COVID, I've like read stories about people have said their dad only enjoyed a year of retirement before dying from COVID. So like, that's kind of why I have done as much as I can, because I'm like, why the fuck am I gonna work 60 hours a week trying to save up money for retirement when I might just fucking die before then
Mm-hmm.
anyway?
Yeah.
Um, I really just am here to try to enjoy my life as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, also, of course, you have the thing with, potentially having kids at some point in your life. And that's, I can go off on having kids. Tristan, have you thought about kids at some point?
I have a dog that takes up way more of my time,
Yeah.
energy, and patience than I am comfortable with.
Hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and say no.
You're gonna go ahead and say no. See, it's like, I think because of my upbringing, the way my parents are wanting more grandbabies, I'm like, I think my soul is a dad.
Mhm.
However, trying to think about having my own kids, I've heard some people say I would be a good dad, but like, while I think there are certain things about me that's true, I am so fucking soft and a pushover. My kids would be fucking horrible,
Mm,
probably.
yeah.
But like, also, I also think about how overpopulated the world is and climate change. Blah blah blah. I've been recently thinking if I have kids, maybe I'd go for the adoption route.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause it's like there's so many kids in the fucked up foster care system that it's like maybe I want to help one of them out. Thinking big pictures as selfishly as I would want a kid of my own blood or whatever the bullshit, whatever the fuck. Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
that doesn't matter. I mean,
yeah,
if you adopt, you're still responsible for a child's development. The
correct. Yeah,
fact that it's not your blood
yeah,
running through their veins, who cares?
yeah, exactly.
The fulfillment is
There are
still there.
so many kids that like
Yeah.
really need help.
Yeah.
So
Um, wow. That might have
yeah,
been the least funny fucking thing we've ever talked about.
let's say something funnier.
Um, shit.
Yeah,
Do
damn it.
you remember when I said butt balls earlier?
That was pretty funny. That was pretty funnier.
Holy
Um,
shit. Holy
I
shit.
have a. I use this to get moonshine at Disney Springs,
Hmm.
and I don't really have a joke for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The last time I was with you in person, Mr. Thomas,
Yeah.
you were drinking moonshine at Disney Springs from that day.
Right. And we saw Thor: Love and
We saw
Thunder.
Thor, and it was one hell of a time, let me tell you that.
That was a fun movie.
That was a fun movie. That was a fun time. I very much
Yeah.
enjoy seeing Marvel movies with you, Tommy.
Yeah, especially like their opening night.
Mm-hmm.
And I love seeing Thor's ass.
Yes, you do see both cheeks.
Munch.
Uh,
Like the bi panic was fucking real in that theater, let me tell you.
yeah, there was lots of rainbow emotions going around.
Correct.
Correcto mundo. Gender isn't real.
Gender is not real.
No.
Oh, everyone is so woke. Or you people would I don't know. So
I
there's
don't know
something.
either.
Yeah,
There's something in there somewhere.
there's a joke. Nah, I don't care.
Is Tommy? Is someone throwing their money at us?
Yes, we do have someone throwing our money at us. That was a fun first topic. So we're gonna go to a commercial break before our next topic. Uh-huh. 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 And we're back. Thank you so much for that sponsorship. We're going to jump into our topic, our second topic of the show, which is our comfort television shows.
Yeah. All right. So I'll actually I'll go first because I only have one.
Okay.
And I'll proceed this with I'm more of a comfort movie type of guy.
Okay.
But I do have one comfort show, and that would be South Park.
Ooh.
Um,
Yeah.
it's because I watched South Park all the time when I was a teenager, and I just
Yeah.
recently, actually, when my dog was recovering from his attack, I found it on HBO Max, and I
Yeah.
picked a random season, and I just happened to pick the exact season that I remember watching so much. And it
Going
really
down
made
South Park, gonna have myself a time. Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptations. Going down South Park, gonna leave myself behind. Every time I did, I forget the exact words.
I don't think there are words.
Going down South Park, gonna be myself a time. Anyways, continue. South Park.
I
I
would
like
be
South
South
Park.
Park. Because it just I don't know, it's something about their episodes that just makes me so happy, and it makes me feel good. It's like it's actually a feel good TV show for me, even though so much of the social
Yeah.
commentary is about how fucked up the world is.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those very dark and edgy shows that is kind of immune from being canceled somehow.
Yeah, exactly, and it is, and I'm so thankful for that.
It's like I think that haven't like Trey Parker and Matt Stone have said we are trying to get like canceled and
Yeah,
like and they
they
just
said
have been
things that are
failing.
just like we don't even
Like
care anymore.
we are trying to get Comedy Central to cancel our show, but they just keep making us make more shows.
But I actually segues into and I'll talk about this very briefly. My comfort movies, just to name them.
Okay.
One of them is Basketball, which is it stars Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and I love that movie to
Yeah.
death. So,
Yeah.
there's a few others like School of Rock,
Yeah. Oh, classic.
The Big Lebowski,
Oh,
the
I
Pirates movies.
love Big Lebowski.
So, Jackie Treehorn.
Pissed on my horn, on my rug. Fuck. I don't know why I said horn.
It's not because I said horn.
Yeah, you said horn.
I
Yeah.
said Treehorn. But yeah, those are. I don't know. What are your comfort TV shows, Tommy?
So my comfort TV shows, probably the biggest one is Community. Growing up, like that was one of my favorite shows, especially as it was airing. And speaking of South Park, there was an episode where they were trying to elect a school president because like they didn't really have one of their student body governments, so they were trying to get one. And then the school elected, the student body elected South Park as their president in the very end of that episode. But like the reason was because Vice President Joe Biden was visiting their school, um, and they needed a student government, so they're like, "Oh shit, we need a president." Blah blah blah, whatever. That show is also where oh my god, Daniel Glover, is that his name? Fuck. Yeah.
Donald.
Donald Glover. Holy
Yes.
fuck. I feel terrible because I love Childish Gambino. He's
Oh.
Childish Gambino.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Community is one of my comfort shows. Like it's very good for me to throw on in the background. Another comfort show for me is actually Friends.
Yeah.
And Friends, I actually didn't get into until 2020. I
Mhm.
remember when I was in college is when it got onto Netflix, and like I never grew up with it or anything like that, and like it's always one of those very popular shows. And when I was in college and I tried to watch it, something about it just didn't connect with me. Um, I don't know, and I was also starting to get over sitcoms with laugh tracks.
Mm.
And then when the COVID quarantine was going on, my roommate who loves Friends was like, dude, we're gonna watch Friends this whole thing, and I'm thinking, I don't like Friends. And then we started watching it, and then it became one of my favorite shows.
Mhm.
Some of the humor in it did not age well, but a lot of the scenarios are very relatable. And Friends is just a very perfect background show,
Mhm.
just a very good show to have on in the background while you're just doing bullshit, whatever. Um, do you watch Friends at all?
No, I
Okay.
actually, I mean, I watched it a little bit as a kid when it was on TV. My
Okay.
parents were watching it,
Yeah.
and I did watch the Friends reunion because my roommates were watching it at that time.
Yeah.
And it was cool to watch because I know
Yeah.
the concept of Friends. I know.
Yeah, it's very easy, people in their 20s going into their 30s, living in New York City, trying to figure out their lives. And kind of tying back to our first topic, I saw a thing recently how, like, the beginning of Friends, they were in their mid to late 20s, still figuring their shit out. Rachel's working at a fucking coffee house. And then, towards the end of the series, they kind of have their shit together and they're in their mid 30s by then. So that's, like, why I've been like, I'm doing fine right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like not everyone has everything fucking figured out by their mid to late 20s. So
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. You right. You right, Tommy.
yeah,
But yeah, I know I dig Friends. I like the concept of Friends.
yeah,
It's almost like, wouldn't that be cool though if you could live like in an apartment with a bunch of friends and then across the
God,
hall is like more of your friends and you just
God,
hang
I
out
would
with
love
each
it.
other and
Yeah, I know that's probably the one thing I miss about college. Like because right now I live in an apartment with friends, but then every other friend I have lives at least 20 minutes away because of Orlando. Um, but like I think that's like one of the things I was thinking of, like when quarantine first started and me and my roommate were watching Friends. I'm like, this really is the Friends portion of my life right now.
Mhm.
And then maybe in 10 years something else will be happening. Who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, you think back, I'm going back to your first topic now, like 10 years ago was completely different for me. And I couldn't have even imagined I'd end up where I am now. So 10 years, who even fucking knows?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, comfort stuff.
Comfort stuff.
You brought up comfort movies as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh, well, comfort show SpongeBob SquarePants. That's a good comfort one. Very good to just have on for fun. Movies, Thor Ragnarok. Just can watch that any day of the week, any hour of the day. That one's fucking fun. And then the live action Scooby Doo. That movie is fire.
Yes, I agree with all those actually.
Yeah.
And that I actually I want to add a comfort TV show, and
Okay.
it's actually a Disney Plus series.
Okay.
So if that counts, but it's
Yeah.
the Imagineering story.
Yeah, that's a good show. I love that
I've
show
watched
so
it
much.
3 or 4 times through because
wow.
I like to put it on and just have that history going on because I mean that show was amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Very underrated show.
Definitely recommend it. I mean, for anybody, honestly, if you want to
Yeah.
see how the Walt Disney Company really has progressed in terms of theme parks,
Yeah.
watch it, man. It is.
Yeah.
It's honest. It's an
Yeah,
honest
I,
documentary.
I I do like how the show is very honest as well. Like, obviously they promote their shit, but like they were very honest about how shitty California Adventure was when it first
Hmm.
opened. I think the biggest quote that sticks out to me in like that show is like when California Adventure opened, they asked an Imagineer, "What do you think?" And the Imagineer said, "I miss the parking lot."
Yep.
And the
Yep.
fact they included that is just holy shit! Wow,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
they didn't hold back that much in that show, and I like that.
Yeah, for sure. So I would add that because I love to throw that on. But yeah, good stuff, man. Comfort things. Comfort
For-
things.
Yeah.
A nice cup of iced tea.
Yeah, because that's honestly how I spent like having COVID. I was laying in my bed, community and friends in the background, and playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Ah,
like I
I love
beat I beat
ice
so many parks during that time. Because like those scenarios take a while to do, and I had nothing to do for 2 weeks, so Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Mm-hmm. Love it, man. That's fun. All right.
Not as fun as you.
I know. F is for friends who
You
do
do stuff together. U is for you,
two useless organisms.
and
And
is
is
for
for
anywhere at any time and all down here in the deep blue sea. F is for fire. Okay. Anyway.
Yelp review. All right.
Yep. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, we're it's a spoiler. We're doing one. We're doing a Yelper. Um, all right.
Hamburger
So
Yelper.
Santa's little Yelper. Yelp review. Yelp review. This one, this reviewer was confused, and they were looking to voice their opinions on the internet. And I think they found Yelp and thought that that's how you do it. So we'll move on with it. This Yelp review is for Jimmy Carter.
Like the actor or the president?
There's an actor.
Something like that.
I don't think there is, but it's the president.
Yeah. The president.
All right. Jimmy Carter is a tyrant and malicious man. I was only 20 years old when he was president, and in my naivety, I foolishly helped vote him into office. Words cannot overstate the level of evil that Mr. Carter has manufactured and spread throughout the world, much of which has metastasized into even stronger evils, such as Ebola and Taylor Swift's sinister lyrics. I am very glad I found this website dedicated to sharing opinions and speaking some sense into the general public. I will first begin with the fact that Mr. Carter was a student of science and was even involved in high profile science programs, yet claims to be a born again Christian, which is deeply hypocritical and an insult to God. On his second day of office, he wasted no time in becoming a malicious devil and pardoned all of the cowardly Vietnam draft evaders, which is unpatriotic, and he should have been impeached immediately. He wasted precious money on founding the departments of energy and education, which could have been used to fund gay conversion camps and 24-hour churches, a much more appropriate use of taxpayer money. He also helped revive a struggling peanut farm, and I am allergic to peanuts. I could
Good.
go on with all the examples of Mr. Carter's malice, but the world is already familiar with these instances. The main reason I have come to this free speech platform is to educate the world of my intensely researched and foolproof theory of the cause of Mr. Carter's wretchedness. In 1922, the mummified remains of King Tutankhamun were discovered in Egypt. It is a well known fact that uncovering the tomb of a pharaoh will result in a curse being placed upon the one responsible for the discovery. Well, the archaeologist behind all of this was none other than Howard Carter, or at least that's how the world knew him. You see, 17 years after he trespassed into the king's tomb, he contracted cancer and died, proof that the curse is real. But the truth is, Howard never died at all. Howard had pleased the Egyptian gods, and one was especially praiseful of him. He gained eternal powers, gifted to him from the Egyptian god of chaos, Seth, to rule the free world with vicious torment and cruelty, renouncing the one true God, and bringing fire down upon the innocent civilians of the world. To trick the world into believing this charade, Howard changed his name to Jimmy, and everyone was just so stupid that they never noticed. Jimmy Carter is now 148 years old, and through a bi-monthly ritual where a baby is sacrificed at an altar made of mahogany and cat bones, he gains another 10 years of vitality, destined to evict the world of good and order until the end of days. I can finally rest easy at night, knowing that the world now knows of Mr. Carter's nasty past. Although I am regretful that I never found this Yelp community sooner. Perhaps I could have spared humanity from a few of Mr. Carter's atrocities. I only ask you all to include your concerns about this issue in your morning, afternoon, evening, and 3 a.m. prayers, so that God will hear our voices and inflict Mr. Carter with a righteous infection of pain and anguish, a punishment for his
Why the fuck am I
148.
at church right now?
Huh?
Why the fuck am I at church right now?
Amen. A punishment for his 148 years of carrying out the wishes of Satan, which will surely end in a death that includes every drop of blood and particle
Thank
of
God.
flesh bursting
I
into
wish.
furnace flames, a fitting foreshadowing of what is to come when Mr. Carter spends the rest of eternity suffering in holy fucking terror as the flames of Lucifer wash over his corpse time and time again. If Jimmy Carter were a business, I would give him 1 out of 5 stars. Can I get an amen, Tommy?
Yes.
Give me a taste of my own medicine there.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
So it went from started as a Yelp review, but it kind of went into a homophobic church
At
church
no
sermon.
point was this a Yelp review, Tommy. I don't believe that this reviewer knows what Yelp is for.
I don't think so either. Um, I'm just bringing back all my religious trauma now, but that's okay.
Well, thank Jimmy
You know,
Carter for
thank Jimmy
awakening
Carter for that. I
the spirit
guess.
of a pharaoh and pleasing the Egyptian god of chaos, Seth,
Sure, I'll.
and using his eternal power to haunt the world, and
Uh,
also
it
not
it, cert-
funding
it certainly
24-hour
haunted me.
churches
Yeah,
and gay
that.
conversion camps.
Yeah, you know, I. Uh,
What about this is so hard to
I
understand?
I could use a cigarette right now. I don't know.
I don't even think you smoke, Tommy. That says a
I,
lot.
not really at all, but I could use a cigarette for that.
Well, I know who I'm not voting for next election, and it's Jimmy Carter.
I won't be voting for Jimmy Carter next election either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's never going to die, so you never know.
I guess so. Oh, fuck, I'm supposed to write the show off after that?
Yes. Please do.
Cool. I guess thanks for listening to the show. Like, bell icon, subscribe, 5 stars, like, follow us, message us for topics. Tristan.
Also, folks, you don't have to tweet Elon Musk anymore. He didn't end up sending me a
Yes.
hat, but my grandma sent me a hat.
Yeah, so fuck Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Fuck Bob Chapstick. Tristan has a cool hat.
I do. For those who don't know, Boring is my last name, and Elon Musk has a company called the Boring Company. So I've always wanted one of these hats. I don't care about the companies,
So he owes you a lot of money, is what I'm hearing.
I don't know how that would work, but
He's using your name in his company. So
you know what? Yes, I'm going to sue him.
you
Thanks
should
for
get
listening.
at least $5 from him.
$5. $5 would make a big difference for me right now, Tommy. You have no idea, but
In this economy,
any whoozy. Yeah, social media, Facebooks, Twitters, Instagrams. Thanks for listening. Tell your weird friends about us. We know that they'll enjoy the weird show. You know what? Fuck off.
Two useless organisms. Two useless organisms.
I don't know. There's something in there. All right. So